This is CBC Windsor News. I'm Jennifer LaGrassa. Thanks for joining us. We begin with the latest trouble in the U.S. tariff talks. Donald Trump has terminated all trade negotiations with Canada. His justification, an anti-tariff TV ad featuring former President Ronald Reagan, paid for by the Ontario government. Prime Minister Mark Carney reacted to the news, saying progress had been made in recent trade talks with the U.S.
We stand ready to pick up on that progress and build on that progress when the Americans are ready to have those discussions.
The way to prosperity for all nations is rejecting protectionist legislation and promoting fair and free competition. America's jobs and growth are at stake.
The Ronald Reagan Presidential Foundation says the ad misrepresents the president's address in 1987. In a social media post, Trump called the ad fraudulent and fake, although earlier in the week, Trump said he saw it and didn't seem to mind. Trump's economic advisor, Kevin Hassett, said that Trump's frustration with Canada has built up over time, and the Canadians have been very difficult to negotiate with. Carney will be attending several international summits in Asia that Trump is also expected to attend. Premier Doug Ford says these spots will stop on Monday after a run during the World Series. Queen's Park reporter Sean Jeffords has the story.
When someone says, let's impose tariffs on foreign imports, it looks like they're doing the patriotic thing by protecting American products and jobs.
This anti-tariff advertisement running on U.S. airwaves from Premier Doug Ford's government is at the heart of a political firestorm.
But over the long run, such trade barriers hurt every American worker.
And it's now the reason President Donald Trump says he's canceled trade talks between the U.S. and Canada. Trump took to social media to break the news Thursday night, calling the Ontario ad a fraud. But Premier Doug Ford defended the ad, while acknowledging it will be paused on Monday. Our intention was always to initiate a conversation about the kind of economy that Americans want to build and the impact of tariffs on workers and businesses. We've achieved our goal, having reached U.S. audiences at the highest levels, Ford said in a statement. Earlier in the week, Ford said Trump had seen the advertisement.
I heard that the president heard our ad. I'm sure he wasn't too happy, but it's real because it was coming from the best president the country's ever seen, Ronald Reagan.
Ford had said the goal of the anti-tariff spot was to reach Republican lawmakers and U.S. voters. The controversy comes at a sensitive time during trade talks between the U.S. and Canada. Earlier in the day, Prime Minister Mark Carney said there were things Canada can't control about U.S. trade policy, but they're ready to get back to the table.
We stand ready to pick up on that progress and build on that progress.
Ontario NDP leader Marit Stiles says Ford should stay out of the way of federal negotiators.
And I think, when you're dealing with somebody like Donald Trump, as we have seen, we know he's vindictive. You're going up against a bear like that, you better know what you're doing.
But the Ontario ad has its high-profile supporters, like Manitoba's NDP Premier, Wab Kinew.
So to my good friend Doug Ford, keep the ads on TV. They're effective, and this country is behind you.
But this expert says Ford's ad campaign may have complicated an already complex negotiation.
I think it was a mistake. I'm not trying to say that I predicted that Trump would abrogate the trade negotiations, but I just don't think it's prudent for any leader of any country or a subnational major leader, like a premier of a major province, to involve themselves in the politics of another country in that country.
While Ford has said he'll hit the pause button on that $75 million ad campaign on Monday, the spots will still run over the weekend on major broadcasters like Fox, CBS, and NBC. And the ads will be shown to millions of viewers tuning into the first two games of the World Series this weekend. Sean Jeffords, CBC News, Toronto.
In the ad, Windsor plays a main role as a border city with lots to lose amid tariffs. Experts here react to Trump's end to trade talks. CBC's Emma Loop reports.
There are arguably two stars in the ad that has drawn Donald Trump's ire: former President Ronald Reagan and Windsor. The border city's bridges feature prominently in the TV commercial, including at the very end.
We are at the tip of the spear. We're at the inflection point between two countries. We're basically the visual pinch point for the world between two previous best friends neighbors, colleagues, family. And now a trade relationship is eroding, and who knows what that means for the social fabric between us in the long term.
Trump says he's halting trade talks over the ad. It's been airing on American networks since last week. Ronald Reagan's voice features throughout, criticizing tariffs and promoting free trade. Political marketing expert Dave Bussiere says the visuals are deliberate.
It's all the points of connection between the two countries. It's showing industry, it's showing points of connection, it's showing the bridge almost completed, and so forth. So it's intentional, and it's showing swing state type of products and images.
In another testament to this region's importance in the trade war, the leader of the federal opposition was in Oldcastle Friday and pinned the blame on the Prime Minister.
And here we are, no deal, no win, no elbows, and no jobs. So it is because of Mark Carney's broken promise that we don't have a deal, and all we have is the chaos that we saw unfold today.
But Donnelly says he isn't panicking yet.
I think this is a blip on the longer radar. I really do. I don't think we should all panic as a result of this. Should the trade relationship boil down further or erode further as a result of this? Sure, maybe there's some alarm bells that should be rung, but I think today is it's a more of a reactionary day, much as the way that the Trump administration reacts almost on a daily basis to whatever's out there in the world.
Donnelly says the big challenge for local businesses has been the uncertainty that the trade war has caused because it prevents them from planning ahead, but that this is all just a precursor to the CUSMA renegotiations. Emma Loop, CBC News, Windsor.
Colette Kennedy is here with weather. Colette, what are things looking like?
Well, we do have some concerns tonight with a frost advisory that is in place, so do be aware of that. Once again, a heads up for Windsor, Essex, Chatham, Kent. All right, that possibility, if you haven't brought your plants in yet, yeah, we really need to start thinking about that and getting them in as the temperatures are dipping. We've had a few isolated showers around through the afternoon. We started off at 5 degrees this morning, made it to 11 degrees, but things are drying out. We'll get clearing overnight, down to 2 degrees, however, and then tomorrow we start off sunny and then increasing cloudiness with a high of 12. I'll show you the whole weekend when we come back, and maybe a Jay's forecast too.
Residents in Windsor's Ward 2, the city's West End, will head to the polls on Monday. CBC's Chris Ensing breaks down what you need to know ahead of voting day.
I'm going to tell you everything you need to know about the Ward 2 by-election, when you can vote, who can vote, and why everyone in the city should be paying attention to who wins.
Here's a map of Ward 2. If you own a home or you rent a unit in this map, you can vote, as long as you're at least 18 years old and a Canadian citizen. Voters can go to any of these 7 locations on voting day. They're open at 10, they close at 8. There's plenty of options this by-election. 15 people put their name forward after former councillor Fabio Costante resigned to lead the Windsor-Essex Community Housing Corporation. The big promise? Better housing.
So I'll advocate for affordable housing options, especially for students and families that support zoning reforms that reflect our community's needs.
There's also a push for safer streets.
My biggest issues in Ward 2, just like many people, residential street speeding. It's out of control.
Some are pitching more transparency.
There's a huge lack of transparency happening right now in city council decisions. The city website's horrible. It's hard to find any information about the community.
Others say they offer seasoned experience.
I led the consultation on the Gordie Howe Bridge that saw Sandwich Street rebuilt and investments in the pier and at Malden Park.
Despite what this packed hall might lead you to believe, voter turnout in Ward 2 is typically low. Citywide, just under a third of Windsor voters actually marked a ballot in the last general election. This ward's turnout is about half that, with disinterested students often blamed for poor percentages. To be clear, students can vote. Just show up with something that says you live in Ward 2, even if you just moved here from another city. And if you own a rental property in Ward 2, but you live in the East End, you too can vote. Just bring something saying that you own that property.
Which brings us back to why everyone in the city should care about this by-election. I'm standing in front of an empty lot off of Cabana beside Dougal. It's nowhere near Ward 2, the developer needs special permission from council to move ahead with what they've proposed, which is multiple buildings, 3 stories high, totaling 18 units. Half of council said no, half of council said yes, a rare split vote. The Ward 2 by-election will decide the 11th member of council, which would be the deciding vote in situations like this. That's why the person who wins this by-election will have an impact on people living across the city. Chris Hensing, CBC News, Windsor.
Game 1 of this year's World Series in Toronto is just hours away. The Blue Jays preparing to square off against the powerhouse defending champion LA Dodgers. The Blue Jays have 2 championships to their credit. Jamie Strassen has the latest from Toronto.
The day has finally arrived, the first World Series game north of the border since 1993. The final touches being put on the field. The final rehearsals as the eyes of the baseball world will be focused on Toronto. Game 1 between the Toronto Blue Jays and the Los Angeles Dodgers, who are looking to win back-to-back World Series championships. A massive international media delegation has descended upon Toronto. The biggest focus, Dodgers superstar Shohei Ohtani.
I think we're talking about a totally different kind of animal here that can do things on the field that not many people can do.
For Blue Jay fans, the team's miraculous season has ignited baseball fever here in Toronto and across the country.
I'm so pumped, that's why I'm here.
World Series merch has been flying off the shelves, and fans are embracing what has been an unexpected march to the World Series.
I'm anxious, but in like the best way. It's all excitement. I'm so proud, and I'm just excited to see what's going to happen.
The players nervous, but excited about what could be a once-in-a-career opportunity.
The pressure will kind of go away when you're in the moment. But, you know, it's great to have a whole country kind of behind you, and it's not just a city.
You don't know how many times you'll make it to the World Series in your life. Some people never do. So a lot of people never do. So I think just being super grateful for our opportunity and taking advantage of it by preparing the best you can and going out there and competing.
And a swing and a fly ball to left field. Despite winning more games than the Dodgers, the Jays are underdogs in this series. A role the team relishes.
I think there's so many different scenarios that you could look to throughout the season, big moments, big hits that had a huge part in us maybe getting out of a rut or continuing a hot streak.
And a big boost for the Jays heading into Game 1. After missing the first 2 rounds of the playoffs with a knee injury, all-star infielder Bo Bichette is back. Good news for Blue Jay fans. Jamie Strassen, CBC News, Toronto.
There's a lot of geese around Windsor, but not all of them fly, waddle, and poop. Goose statues are a pretty popular decor piece for homes in the city, and sometimes people actually dress them up. I met one Windsorite who let me take a gander at her geese's wardrobe. Check this out.
This is Grace. This is Susie Q. And this is Gloria Jean.
Meet Elaine Crowley's porch geese. She doesn't remember when she got them or how the costumes started, only that it did. She doesn't have many costumes upstairs, but 1 floor away,
there's so many.
and she can't stop collecting them.
It's St. Patrick's Day. And I don't know what this one is. Doesn't matter. It's cute.
The 87-year-old has dozens of goose outfits, all locally made.
I went to a craft show and they had the clothes on sale. So I thought, oh, that got me. A couple $100 later.
She ended up getting so many that she didn't know where to put them. So her sister hung up these clotheslines in the basement.
My kids say, not again. You don't need any more. Well, there's always room for one more. You know.
You have so much space here.
Exactly. Look, there's all kinds of room. Look, I got push this side. Look, I got more room.
Her geese are Lions fans. They like their fur and sometimes pretend they're Santa or Biker Bob.
The hat with the hair. It looks really cute on the goose. Here's my bridal outfit for June.
Why bridal for June?
June brides.
It's a fun hobby, but a big part of the thrill is the hunt for the next outfit.
I want to get some Blue Jay clothes, so that'll be next. I'm going to a craft show on Saturday, so we'll see. Maybe.
A look outside there. We'll be right back with more news. Stay with us. Welcome back. It's a go-to health information source for millions, but a marketplace investigation reveals TikTok is rife with false and sometimes dangerous treatment claims. Asha Tomlinson now on the bad advice and the potentially harmful consequences.
These students say they scroll Dr. TikTok for medical advice often.
I do listen to what they have to say.
But we searched two popular health topics, autism and cancer, then analyzed 200 TikTok videos featuring a cure or treatment for them. We found 80%, that's totaling 75 million views, were not backed by solid science. Some were outright dangerous, according to our experts. Like this video posted by a chiropractor promoting chelation therapy for autism. It's an IV treatment that removes heavy metals from the body.
I've had patients in the past before they got to me who had severe speech delay that made great strides.
This autism researcher and pediatrician warns against it.
Heavy metals are not a contributor to autism. There is a risk of death that comes with these treatments.
And there's this video of actor Mel Gibson on Joe Rogan's podcast.
I have 3 friends. All 3 of them had stage 4 cancer. All 3 of them don't have cancer right now at all. And they had some serious stuff going on.
And what did they take? Ivermectin? Fenbendazole.
Ivermectin is an anti-parasitic drug. Fenbendazole, a dog dewormer. Oncologist Dr. Abba Gupta's take?
It's complete garbage. If we truly thought that any of these agents had any merit, we would be doing clinical trials in them. But there is no merit.
We contacted Mel Gibson for comment. He gave us a polite pass and no response from the chiropractor pushing chelation therapy. TikTok says it takes action when content violates its guidelines, and it warns users not to rely on the platform for medical advice. Most of the videos we flagged have now been taken down. And after seeing what we found, these students say they'll now think twice before trusting Dr. TikTok.
For those life-threatening, more serious stuff, always go to a doctor. Don't trust social media.
Asha Tomlinson, CBC News, Toronto.
This year's edition of the Windsor International Film Festival is underway. Ontario Tourism Minister Stan Cho was in Windsor to announce $250,000 in a new provincial funding for the festival. He also had a reaction to Donald Trump cutting off trade talks with Canada.
When the president threatens our creative industries, film and television, which feed into that cultural identity, it makes us take notice, and it makes us get defensive, and we are ready for any threats that come our way. Festivals like WIF are an important part of making sure we stand up against these types of threats.
Opening night of WIF 2025 was Thursday. Screenings will be taking place all day, every day until November 2nd. A total of 231 films will be shown, representing cinema from around the world. WIF Executive Director Vincent Georgi said the provincial funding will help with festival programming and marketing. WIF is also trying to attract more U.S. tourists as attendees. Now, this next video isn't something you see every day. Sarnia police have issued an arrest warrant for the driver of this SUV. The 62-year-old woman drove into a car wash the wrong way. This happened around 1 a.m. Thursday morning in Sarnia after she fueled up and entered the store to make a purchase. You can then see her get out of the vehicle, walk around, and consider what to do next. Her decision to accelerate and ram her way through a garage door. She then fled the scene. Police estimate the damage to be around $30,000. The driver is facing 4 separate charges. There's heavy metal music, but there's also heavy metal art. This Iraqi artist assembles discarded auto parts, waste metal, and used tires into works that blend creativity with environmental consciousness. And his scrap art is a hit. What began as a hobby is now a full-time business for the former mechanic. The only problem for would-be buyers is they may need a forklift to get some of his sculptures home. We will be right back with Colette with your full weather forecast, so stay with us. So earlier in the show, we showed you Elaine Crowley's geese. She's got a full Lions getup for them, as you can see there. But she's now looking for some Jays swag that they can rep. So we'll have to stay tuned for that. And Colette, speaking of the Jays, you are all decked out.
Yep, they can borrow my sweater. Yes, I know we've got some maybe disappointed Tigers fans, but a lot of folks that happy to get on the bandwagon and go with the Jays. And just if you're curious what things are like towards that first pitch tonight, right around 8 p.m., the slightest chance of an isolated shower. The Rogers Center will be closed, however, because of the cooler temperatures with 8 degrees and the winds out of the northwest at about 10 kilometers an hour. So not too bad for those that will be heading there to the game or watching from other locations. Our current temperatures, well, they've been holding through the afternoon anyway, around 11 degrees. So that's been kind of nice. We've had a few hours at that, even if it's a couple degrees below seasonal. And those winds still at times have been gusting over 30 kilometers an hour and more of a northerly flow. These are the sustained winds. So it is enough to keep that temperature those few degrees below seasonal. And that's going to be the trend as long as we have these winds, even though they do get quite a bit lighter tonight and into tomorrow as well. Here's some of that instability we've still been dealing with through the afternoon hours, but that area of low pressure, it's actually centered over Quebec, finally breaking down and tracking a little bit further to the east. And so we get out from under its influence. So clearing skies overnight tonight. That is a nice setup then to begin the day on Saturday with sunshine. This is at 9 a.m. But just be aware as the day wears on, we still have some of that cooler air aloft. And then when things heat up at the surface and that air rises, it condenses and we get some cloud cover developing. So becoming at least variable into the afternoon, meaning more cloud at sometimes, a little less at other times. But we should then clear out again into Sunday. And the setup is looking pretty nice, frankly, for that second half of the weekend, even if temperatures stay a little on the cool side. And then into Monday, it'll be kind of a split decision where we'll start off with sun and then we could get into some increasing cloudiness and a chance of showers later on in the day. Check out those overnight temperatures, though. That's why we do have the frost advisory that I was showing you earlier in the show with that risk and the temperature down to 2 degrees. Increasing cloudiness in the afternoon. 12. Sunday, looking good, 13, more sun early, and then some clouds coming in, and then those temperatures kind of stationary there in that 12 to 13 range as we head into next week.
That looks like a great weekend. Thanks, Colette.
You're welcome.
Thanks, everyone, for watching.